Welcome back, Outlaws. On today's episode, we're going to be tie-dyeing the oval vortex shirt, so stay tuned. We're going to start off by soaking our shirt in sodium carbonate. This can be picked up at Home Depot in the section where they have pool supplies, or can be found online. I mix 1 cup or 8 ounces of sodium carbonate to 1 gallon of water. This is an important step, and if not taken, it will not allow the ink to adhere to the fabric. After agitating it for a little bit, we're going to let it soak for about a minimum of 10 minutes. I let this actually soak a little longer for about 25 minutes. Now that the fabric has had a chance to react with the sodium carbonate, it's time to wring it out. Some people choose to do this in their washing machine, but it kind of makes a mess, so I prefer to do it by hand right here over the bucket so that I could use the sodium carbonate again for another t-shirt. The reason you want to get all the leftover moisture out of the shirt and leave it damp is that the ink will not penetrate if the shirt is wet. So make sure that you have it wringed out and slightly dry, and then you're ready to fold. Also, you want to make sure that it's 100% cotton, because if it's polyester, the ink will not adhere. The next thing we're going to want to do is lay the shirt out and get it ready to start folding. But you want to make sure that you have a clean surface so that the shirt does not get stained ahead of time. You want to carefully work out all the creases and all the little wrinkles to make sure that the shirt is nice and flat and even when you start to fold. This is where I'm going to start to fold the vortex. You're going to grab a bottom corner here and a top corner by the sleeve, and then carefully lift up, trying not to make any more creases or folds. After making the fold, you're going to go ahead and check for wrinkles and creases once more, and make sure that that line in the center that you folded is nice and tight. Next, we're going to take our washable pen and start our oval design, making a line that we will use as a guide to fold on. I'm going to start up top and make 3 points to make it easy to draw the oval. Don't worry if you make a mistake. The great thing is this ink is washable. Now that we've had our oval design on the shirt and a line that we can use as a guide, it's time to start folding. We will be folding this in an accordion style method. This part is very critical in the design. You want to make sure that all your folds are nice and even and tight, continually straightening them as you go along during each fold. As I fold, I'm continually straightening each pleat and making sure that they go straight out And as we go along the line, we're going to continually do that to make sure that the design comes out good. I alternate between folding methods. Sometimes I use the accordion, and then the other I use my fingers. I pinch and I pull. This helps keep the line straight and gets around some of the tight areas. Don't forget to continually straighten your line and your pleats as you go along. As we near the end of folding it, you can see here that the line is right in a row. Next, we're going to get our rubber bands and we're going to start putting them on so that we can keep everything in place, and then it will be ready to start applying the ink. The use of rubber bands by holding the folds of the fabric together are also a great guide when applying your ink. You want to keep them evenly spaced because you will be using these as a guide. Continue to check and recheck your folds throughout the project. From here on, you get the idea. Evenly space the rubber bands throughout the piece. At this point, turn it over and check your spacing on the back side, keeping in mind that these will be used when you're applying your ink to keep your lines straight. A good idea when applying your ink is to rest your piece on some type of tray. A baking rack will work. This allows the piece to be up off the flat surface so that when the ink comes off, the excess ink, it doesn't soak into areas that you don't want. Today's colors for the vortex will be green, blue, red, orange, and yellow. We're going to start with the green on the tip, which is the very center of the vortex. And then we're going to keep all of our colors in a row, in a line, and just repeat them in succession, one after another, until the entire piece is filled with ink. I use these bottles with a little metal tip because it allows a little more detail when applying your ink. Using the rubber bands as a guide, you want to take the center and apply right in the center as the ink fades from left to right, filling in the blank space. You also want to be careful not to apply too much in one space so it bleeds over. Now that all the ink's been applied, here's a little pro tip for you. We're going to put on some straight black ink. I know it's counterintuitive, but we're going to cover this whole thing up and it's going to make this thing just explode. You want to apply a thin coat over the entire piece. Not too much so it soaks down in, but you just want to coat the top of it nice and evenly till you don't see any color peeking through. You also want to get the sides and make sure you don't miss any along here as well. We're going to flip it over and do the same thing on the back side as well, making sure that you don't see any of the other colored ink peeking through. You only want to use a brush when applying this black ink to the outside. If you were to use a bottle, it would saturate and destroy the piece. The purpose is just to put a coating of the black dye on the outside. Now go ahead and inspect the piece and check it out and touch up the spots that you have missed, and then you're ready to let it dry. The dye curing process is next. I choose to leave mine out in the sun because we have good weather. If you don't have good weather, you may place it in a plastic bag and put it in a dry spot in your home to cure. As we do the final inspection, making sure that the entire piece is coated with the black dye, we go ahead and set it on the rack again, and we will place it in the sun, and it will sit there in the sun and dry, and then rest for 24 hours. Then we'll be ready to go ahead and check the piece and hopefully rinse it and do a reveal.
Hours later.
Let's get these rubber bands off and see what we got inside. If you'd like me to show you how I made this shirt, put a comment in the section below, and I'll do my best to make a video and show how I made this design.